everyone. Seems like everyone's anxious to get started this morning. It's like we got a lot on the agenda. Jody, would you mind shutting that door, please? I want to thank everyone for being here today. Before we get started, we have a custom of beginning with a prayer and the pledges, and today we have Dr. Tony Romans with us. If you would, please lead us in the invocation, and Commissioner McCam, the pledges.
Holy Father, this morning we exalt your name in this place and in all the earth. Father, we exalt you in our thinking and in our living. Father, we've come today to intercede for these, your servants, and to pray for your favor and blessing. Your word says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We pray that wisdom might rule and fill this place. God, we pray specifically for our judge, our commissioners, their families. God, their ministry on your behalf to us as your people. Father, we pray for our sheriff, the deputies, and all of those that are first responders in our county that minister to us on your behalf as well. We pray, God, for your sweet blessing and favor, protection, and grace on all they do. May your purposes be accomplished in all that's done in this place and through the day. We pray today, Father, that you'd bless our country, heal our nation. God, do your great work through us, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Dr. Romans, thank you very much. Well, again, I would like to welcome everyone to Commissioner's Court. This is March the 1st, and it is Election Day. So, excuse me, I'll get my agenda pulled up. We do have a quorum, so we will call this meeting to order. We do have some citizens' comments. There have been two presented here. One is a Mr. Jeff Arnswald, and the other is and please forgive me, Robin Sikora, and they have requested to speak when item number 8 is called to our attention. Were there any other citizens' comments? Yes. All right. Item 1, consider and take action on minutes from previously held meeting of Commissioners Court on March the 15th, 2022. Are there any additions, deletions, or comments?
Hearing none, Judge, I move we approve the regular session of Commissioners Court dated February the 15th, 2022 as presented.
I'll second his motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Spivey to approve the minutes as presented for Commissioners Court meeting February the 15th, 2022. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. This next item is something that we have enjoyed for many, many years, and it's item number 2, which is consider and take action on a proclamation in remembrance of Texas Independence Day. And we have Mr. Clayton Starr with us, the Sons of the Republic of Texas. Or if you would, please, sir, this is something that has been a tradition with this court forever. In my time on here, and we're always appreciative of the stories that are told, and you have the floor.
Thank you. And we lost our main man who came to this court for all these years, and he brought me with him. As Charles Luna passed away, and we miss him dearly. We would have had 2 more members here today, but one of them come down with shingles 2 days ago, and the other one had a cardiovascular problem yesterday. Had to been shocked 4 times, so he's not. And that was Bill Sequel. Gene Pilgrim was the one with shingles, and they try to come. Bill almost makes it every time. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you'll miss. I don't know. I hope he'll be well enough for the SAR proclamation that's coming. But anyway, proclamation for here, the March 2nd, 2022 is the 186th anniversary of Texas Independence Day, when 56 brave Texicans and Tijuanans met at Washington on the Brazos to declare Texas an independent nation, signing the Declaration on March 2nd. The 56 men signed this Declaration of Independence, continued to draft a constitution, pledging their lives and fortunes in securing a free and independent Texas. And citizens of Henderson County wish to join the Sons of the Republic of Texas and all citizens of Texas in observance and remembrance of the 182nd anniversary of this important event in Texas history. And I did a little research. I thought at first I'd get up and read the Declaration, but it's 4 pages. But I did find a little excerpt about it. This man, it was written out there on one of the historical websites I go to. The Texas Declaration of Independence was framed and issued by the Convention of 1836 at Washington on the Brazos. As soon as the convention was organized, a resolution was introduced for appointment of a committee to draw up a Declaration of Independence. Richard Ellis was president of the convention. He appointed George C. Childress, James Gaines, Edward Conrad, Colin McKinney, and Bailey Hardeman to the committee. Childress was named chairman, and it is generally conceded that he wrote the instrument with little help from the other members. There is some evidence that he brought to the convention a proposed declaration. Number one, he was appointed on March 1st. They approved it on March 2nd. He had it totally written, I have a feeling, before he came, and it was signed and adopted on March 2nd. And I thought that was quite interesting that he was well prepared. Thank you.
Mr. Starr, thank you so very much. In times of what's happening now around the world, we see what's going on in Ukraine and stuff. For at least myself, Texas Independence Day has always been a strong observance by Henderson County, but especially in today's time of what's going on, what these individuals sacrificed. So many different individuals came together to see the birth of Texas. And yes, we take a lot of pride in that, but you see it around the world, everybody wants to be free. Court, comments? I know we all greatly miss Mr. Charles Luna and what he brought every year to this court. I know for 15, 16 years. This morning, two of us were negligent in wearing our Texas ties this morning. And that Mr. Starr and Mr. Luna, as a part of the Sons of the Republic of Texas, gave to us to wear on these occasions. In a month, we'll have another opportunity as we celebrate San Jacinto Day, which is, of course, when Texas actually won its independence, so which is April 21st. Court comments?
Proud to be a Texan.
All right. Well, if there's no further comment or discussion, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the proclamation in remembrance of Texas Independence Day, which is March the 2nd, this 2022, 186 years. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Again, Mr. Starr, thank you so much for your dedication and your group's dedication. Item 3, presentation of award in honor of Henderson County from the Texas Association of Counties. And we have Ms. Beaver with us today. We won an award.
Yes, sir, we did. So every year, Texas Association of Counties Health and Employee Benefits Pool puts on a Healthy County Boot Camp, and I've been fortunate enough to attend the last 3 years. And this year, in February, we were awarded the 2022 Most Improved Participation Award for the group size over 200 lives. So meaning that's the largest county size that TAC supports. And we were actually the only county to win this award. We won this award because the court implemented a wellness incentive, and our employees have stepped up and really taken account of their health and have participated in these wellness incentives. We went from only 20 to 30 participation to about 200 in 1 year.
And this Healthy County program,
Healthy County program is to help our employees become healthier, and in hopes, in return, will lower our insurance premiums.
that's a challenge for everyone these days.
Yes, it is.
Court, questions or comments? Well, Ms. Beaver, thank you very much, you and your team. Ms. Lee and her assistants, since we put this into place, 8 years ago? Something like that? It's been a while, but at least there's some improvements.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Item number 4, consider and take action on enrolling county employees into the Texas Association of Counties annual cybersecurity training course for 2021-2022 in accordance with Texas Government Code 2054.5191. Ms. Beaver.
Yes, so this is a requirement annually through the Texas House Bill 3834, effective June 14, 2019. It requires all elected officials and most local government employees to complete cybersecurity training. The reason why I say most is the requirement is at least 25% of their job is done on a county computer. Anything under 25% would not have to complete the requirement based on the law, the House bill. TAC offers, Texas Association of County offers free cybersecurity course that certifies to fulfill the House bill. And that is also reported to the DIR, the Texas Department of Information Resources. Historically, we have asked for enrollment back in October to give our employees a little bit more time. Unfortunately, the Texas Association of Counties switched vendors on us this year, so we were waiting on them to get set up. It opened at the end of February. February 16th is when it opened, and they have pushed the due date back to August 31st instead of June 14th. So we do have a little bit of extra time. This is just asking that we enroll all county employees that fall within the requirements into the TAC certified course free of charge to the county.
And again, this is for employees that spend greater than 25% of their time
That's
engaged
correct.
in activities on the county network.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Who determines the 25%, the department head or?
They're going to know best because they're going to know what their employees are doing throughout the day. So I would agree with that statement of the
So
department
we
head.
can, for best practice, just go ahead and have them do it if we don't.
Yes, sir. If that's what, if that's the
It's a
department.
good-
Yeah.
It's a good training session anyway, even if you don't use it for your own personal gain,
Yes, sir.
on anything, so.
Well, again, instead of going back to this, there's a lot of exposure to local government. There's 254 counties in the state of Texas. All are connected, and it doesn't take but one click of the mouse to bring county organization or any governmental organization a lot of difficulty. And that is one of the reasons why the state legislature passed House bill. What was the House bill?
3834.
3834 to require this type of training to better protect local government. So this is our third year,
Yes,
I
sir.
think, since
This will be going on to our third year,
This will be our
going
third
into.
year. So, any other questions or comments? Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the enrolling of county employees into the Texas Association of Counties annual cybersecurity training course for the 2021-2022 cycle in accordance with Texas Government Code 2054.5191. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously. Item number 5 is consider and take action on refund request for overpayment of taxes from Henderson County Tax Assessor Collector. Good morning.
Good morning. I have 6 refund checks totaling $25,230.21 for court approval.
Court, questions, comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner McCam, to approve the refund request for overpayment of taxes from Henderson County Tax Assessor Collector as presented. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, consider and take action on inmate communications addendum agreement with the National Crime Information Center, otherwise known as NCIC, to add mail service. Sheriff?
Good morning, Court. Thank you. We at the jail have been struggling the past few months gaining information on with the inmate population. They're always trying to figure things out and get ahead of us, and unfortunately they have figured out to soak mail in liquid illegal substances and then mail it in. We've caught some that have tested positive, and they basically eat that mail and get high inside the jail. So we've caught some of them. We've addressed what we've caught, but we know there's other substances coming in being soaked. And so we started looking at other options, and NCIC, who we already have our video visitation through, our inmate telephone system through, they have a mail service. And so we started looking at trying to implement this, and but then there's another hurdle that you have to have your correspondence plan that has to be approved by the jail commission, had to be changed, and that takes a while. So we've actually got the jail commission on board. They've approved a correspondence plan to allow us to do this. And what this will do is now the inmates will no longer, the people writing the inmates will no longer send their mail to the address here in Athens. It'll go to an address, I think it's in Jacksonville or Longview. It'll go through the address in Longview. They'll copy all the mail, and then they'll put it on the inmate visitation system where they can see who's writing them, but they won't have physical mail in their hands. Our percentage with the video visitation and messaging system that we have was at 30%. We went back and forth, and by adding this, our percentage is going down to 25%, but that's not a lot in my mind compared to the workload that they're going to have to do, because all of our mail will go to them unless it's legal mail. Legal mail will still come to our facility, but that's mail that's coming through the courts, coming from attorneys and such like that, and we normally do not have issues with that. Now, sometimes they do try to disguise mail that and label it legal, but it's pretty easy to pick out when they try something like that. So this is just, we're having issues, and this is going to help us address the issues that we have.
Questions for the sheriff?
So it goes to Longview, and then they send it back to the inmate electronically?
Yes, it'll go to Longview. They'll scan it in and put it in the system, and everybody's got their own PIN code, so they can pull up and look, and then after 30 or 60 days, they'll destroy the original mail on their end.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Sheriff, this is going to require your signature.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Spivey, to approve the inmate communications addendum agreement with the National Crime Information Center to add mail service with sheriff's authorization to sign. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Item 7, consider and take action to enter into an agreement with the City of Dallas for Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Sheriff.
Yes, sir. This is a task force that we are already a member of. We've been a member of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force with the City of Dallas for a couple of years now. And Dustin Smith, our investigator over there, is basically our representative to the task force, and we've been able to, since he's joined the task force, we've been able to apprehend several suspects through this task force, and it's basically a task force that just focuses on folks that are trying to victimize kids via the internet. And it's a great organization. I'm bringing it before the court this year because this is the first year where they've ever agreed to reimburse us up to $10,000. Usually, in the past, we've just signed the agreement and it's been no money exchanged. They just assisted us and we've worked together. This year, they're in the agreement. They're saying they'll reimburse us some cost up to $10,000. So I brought that before the court.
Questions for the sheriff? Sheriff, does this have something to do with the recent training, the cyber training that members of your office, I believe, was going to Alabama or something for?
This is actually a separate entity, but Dustin Smith is on that also, so anything that has to do with computers, he's kind of my tech investigator now, so he'll be on both.
Okay. So the two together just bring that much more.
Yes, sir.
In our tasks. Okay.
And this looks like it's good till September the 30th of 2022.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments? This does require the sheriff and county judge's signature. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to enter into an agreement with the City of Dallas for Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force with the judge's and sheriff's signature.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tootley, to enter into an agreement with the City of Dallas for Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force with the sheriff and county judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously.
Thank you, Court.
Thank you, Sheriff. Item number 8 is consider and take action to set a public hearing for the establishment of a Henderson County property assessed clean energy program. And we have two individuals that asked to speak during public comment on this item. And we'll let ladies first, and Ms. Sikora. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, thank you.
Now, Ms. Sikora, you will need to, for the record, state your name and address.
Okay.
And then once you've done that, we'll give you 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Robin Sikora. I'm at 219 Seaside Drive in Gun Barrel City, Texas.
Okay.
Judge McKinney and County Commissioners, I am the Director of the Gun Barrel City EDC, and I'm here to express my support of the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program for Henderson County. Our organization is very interested in supporting clean energy and conservation throughout the state, and especially in Henderson County. Energy improvements are essential for the long-term health of business. Low-cost, long-term financing of these improvements will benefit businesses and their customers for years to come. By eliminating upfront costs, extending financing, and simplifying the transfer of repayment obligations to new owners upon sale, PACE overcomes challenges that have hindered building energy efficiency into our infrastructure. Our community in Gun Barrel City has several businesses that could benefit from the PACE program by assisting in improvements to older buildings. In addition, we have a $12 to $15 million development coming to our community that's ready to take advantage of PACE immediately. I hope you'll strongly consider the merits of this program and move to make PACE available in our county as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Second individual wishing to speak is Mr. Jeff Arnswald. Mr. Armswald, again, if you would, for the record, state your name and your address, and then you'll be given 3 minutes.
My name is Jeff Arnswald. I live at 1101 Bunny Rabbit Road in Athens. I'm currently the city manager in Gun Barrel City, Texas. And first off, I'd like to apologize on behalf of Mayor Skanes. He wanted to be here this morning, but a previous engagement prevented him from his attendance today. On behalf of the city of Gun Barrel City, I'm just here to show support for the PACE program. Economic development is crucial to the health of Gun Barrel City. Providing long-term low-interest financing for clean energy options helps encourage business development and provides opportunities for existing businesses to benefit from emerging green energy technologies for their customers and our community. I'd like to give thanks to the Commissioners Court for considering supporting the PACE program in Henderson County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Armswald. Court, this is about setting a public hearing for the establishment of the PACE program. Part of that, we do have a resolution we'll need to pass. In our discussions, we've had a workshop and gone through much of the establishment of this program and the pros and the cons to it. And at this time, I'd like for our county attorney, if he would, to come up and to visit with us some on it as we move forward here. So
it will be a short visit, but as the judge said, I had delivered the original resolution of intent to him, which the court will need to approve. There's one blank that needs to be filled in. I've already filled out the hearing date for March 15th. The court just needs to set a time if it's inclined to pass that resolution. So what we do at this meeting is just pass the resolution of intent to establish the program. You can't do both at the same meeting, so this has to be passed in one meeting. We will post notice of the public hearing. We will post a copy of our proposed plan onto the county website, and then at a subsequent Commissioners Court meeting, we will come back and actually adopt the program and adopt the plan if the court so chooses.
Questions?
And we do have the expert, Charlene Haydinger, here in the audience here. If needed, then she can answer a lot of those questions if you have any. So.
If there's, go ahead.
Is this something that the cities can do without the county?
Yes, it's my understanding that cities can pass this. So Charlene, you're welcome to come up if you have any input. So,
Charlene, if you would, please come forward and give us the Reader's Digest synopsis.
My name is Charlene Heidinger. I'm the president of the nonprofit Texas PACE Authority. The legislation, the Texas PACE Act, allows a city or a county to establish the program. Our organization prefers to work with counties whenever that's possible because it's the same amount of work, and we would love for your businesses in the unincorporated areas and throughout the county to have the program. I am not a city-county expert in terms of your authorities, but my understanding is that Gun Barrel does not have, under its charter, the authority to assess property. So this is, for them, would have to be done at the county level. It's my understanding. Okay. And again, to remind everyone, it does not involve any taxpayer dollars. It's budget neutral. You will not be, we've done everything we can to ensure that your staff won't have, there will be no burdens on the county. Excuse me.
Will this be for commercial or commercial and residential?
No, sir. Some of the early PACE programs in other states did not include consumer protections, and in my personal views, still need to work on that. So there are some things would need to be done to protect residential homeowners. This bill, because of that, the legislature limited this to commercial, industrial, and multifamily properties with the idea that business owners will be a little more savvy in their dealings.
Well, Charlene, I believe there has only been 2 that have had the ultimate difficulty in the process that has happened in the state so far. This has been available in the state of Texas for how long?
The statute was passed in 2013. The first program was established in 2015, and the first projects closed in 2016. We've learned a lot from those early situations, so we are very careful on the front end. If a property fails, it won't be over this program because we require that the savings exceed the cost. So these literally pay for themselves. And some people complain about that, but we would rather be conservative and careful than risky.
Right. Now, Mr. County Attorney, I believe that there is a 30-day, what I call an out clause in these programs that if for some reason the issues arose and the county chose to exit offering this, that is a viable option.
You would have to continue to service any of the outstanding loans, but yes, we would have the ability to get out. Or if the legislature ever came back and extended it to residential and the court did not want to go into the residential market, we would have the opportunity to get out. Yeah.
And one last question that I have, normally our authorities end at the city limits, in some cases the ETJs. Will the cities have to enact to have this program inside the city limits or use our program inside?
Not that I'm aware of, unless she says differently.
Nope.
So, no.
We now serve 74 local governments. Half of those are counties. And the way the statute is written, the program is available within the boundaries set by the local government creating the program. So if you set your boundaries at the county level, it won't matter whether property's in a city or not.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was coughing when you stated a number, but can you tell us and tell the general public how many programs that y'all have done and worked at across the state?
So we serve 74 local governments. Half of those are counties, half are cities, a little bit of overlap. We have closed 55 projects since 2016. The total is about $192 or $93 million. The smallest project is $68,000. The largest is $24 million. And it's the small projects that things get a little shaky sometimes with property owners, and so that's why we're so strict on the front end. We also committed to serve everybody, so.
And do you have a number in Henderson County, and maybe some people that have talked to you from other cities inside Henderson County that would like this program?
Ma Bank went ahead and created their own program, but I think they're in multiple counties, so that made sense. Gun Barrel has reached out. In fact, they really have had the leadership in this whole conversation. There may be others. We try not to get too involved in the projects themselves until they're ready to come forward, because if we're going to be your quality control, we can't really be doing the development either. So I know there's activity out there, but I'm not involved in it. There might be others in the room who could speak to that, and they can tell you at the hearing too.
Well, I know one of the reasons why the city of Maybank did, because they're in 3 different counties, and they would have to, if one county didn't go in, then that area would be.
Amarillo is another city that made that decision for the same reason. Yeah.
That's an interesting point. Given that the city of Maybank is in 3 different counties, is there any conflict between Henderson County's program and the program that the city enacted? Would there ever be a conflict there?
No. Texas Pace Authority works very hard to have everything be uniform. It's too expensive for contractors and lenders and everybody to be trying to manage different projects and different programs, different documents, so everything's the same. Rockdale in Milam County had a property that wanted to use the program, so they went forward. The county judge at the time was getting ready to retire, didn't really want to take on something new. And then Cameron, the county seat, said, well, we want it too. And then Judge Peters was elected and called me and said, this whole county should have this program. So we actually have 3 programs in Milam County, but the documents are all the same. So it really doesn't matter whether the property owner wants to go with the city program or the county program. It's the same.
And
So right now, there's 3 areas, commercial, multifamily,
And industrial. So
industrial.
And-
No residential.
the only residential is multifamily units with it, or multifamily properties with at least 5 units. So you can't do a condo or a home. It's really apartment complexes with at least 5 units, and the cutoff, the legislature put the cutoff there because that's when multifamily property is considered commercial. A nonprofit owner of commercial property can use this. A nonprofit property is commercial property, it just happens to be owned by someone who doesn't pay taxes at that particular moment in time. So we've done several nonprofits as well. In industrial, agriculture is considered a subset of industrial. And I know we can help that community once they kind of figure out the PACE program. This is the great program that very few people know about. So we have a lot of education and outreach. Once you create it, just to set expectations, it may be a while before you see somebody use it, because we have to train the contractors and teach the lenders about it. So there's a lot of work that goes into laying the foundation for this program, but we're honored that you're considering it. And I also really want to compliment the judge and staff. You've really done your homework on this, and I appreciate that.
Can the business owners choose their own contractors, or does it have to be a network of contractors that you have?
Businesses can, so the way the Texas community wanted this program set up, we only do the oversight. The property owner can choose whatever lender, whatever contractor, engineer they want. They can do business the way, it's pretty free market, flexible. They just hit the requirements when they apply. So we make sure everything's done properly, but we really want business owners to have all the power and to be able to do business the way they want to do business. And then we just make sure the I's are dotted and the T's crossed.
Is the loan, the PACE program loan, is it tax deductible?
Probably not.
And I don't know that we've had the discussions about it, and like you said, did the homework, but I don't know that the public understands that this is a way of financing financing the upgrades to different properties. This is not someone goes out and plans and builds a brand new facility. I mean, it can be an expansion of a facility, but this is something that is to assist in the rehabilitation and the refurbishing of existing facilities along the way. Is that correct?
Yes. The nuance is that the statute prohibits the use of this program on undeveloped property. And so what we've said is if you can show that the property was developed, and we've taken a very conservative view of what that means, that there was a facility that was recognized as an improvement by the CAD and that used power or water, that if you can show that it was developed to that extent, then we'll allow a tear down and a rebuild. So there can be some new construction, but until the legislature addresses that issue, we want to be really clear that it was developed so that nobody can come back and challenge that lien later.
Any other questions or comments?
My understanding is that y'all, the PACE program doesn't really go out and pursue participants.
No.
Because I had the same question that Commissioner from Precinct 4 2 had, is Gun Barrel approached y'all. And we know Gun Barrel is the fastest growing area in the county. But we also have 9 other towns and cities. Have they not approached you? Why hadn't we heard anything from them?
Probably because they don't know about it.
I will say we have received support from a number of cities for today's action. So there is a little bit of knowledge of the program out there. We have received some.
I got a letter from Malakoff, and I got one from Trinidad just today.
And what I would ask is for your help in reaching out to your community. So if you've got chambers, EDCs, Rotaries, I mean, they have to find a speaker every week. So we are anxious to follow up. Should you decide to move forward with the program, we are anxious to follow up to get the word out. We won't develop specific deals, but we do need to train up the contract, and so there will be that investment in education and outreach that we will make. But we would prefer to do it to groups, with groups. So if you've got folks you want us to meet with, I really welcome. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but at the appropriate time, we'd really welcome that.
Any other questions or comments?
We will at some point in time have to go back and amend our contract with our collection tax attorneys under the statute. Any delinquencies are collected in the same manner that our property taxes, and so we would just need to go back, amend that contract to ensure that it included the collection of PACE liens or outstanding delinquencies there. That's not a financial impact to the county. It's a matter of housekeeping. There's not a hurry to do that. We don't need to do that before it's passed or right after it's passed. We just need to do it before we have a delinquency or when we have a delinquency, and that's something that I've talked to Liz about, and there's not any issues there. If there are any negatives, I think that Liz and I probably share is the fact that when the legislature created these do take a priority lien over everything, including county taxes and municipal taxes, and that's really unusual. Typically, we take priority. When the legislature created the PACE program, they take priority. We discussed that a lot in workshop, and I know Charlene's talked about it, and I think she would tell you that it would have to be a very unusual worst-case situation for that to ever be a factor in us being able to collect our delinquent taxes.
The negative or positive for the county is that the positive is it's no strain on us and any departments except for enacting and being I can't remember what it was, the money holder or the transfer of the money or how that kind of stuff.
I think, and again, I think the only negative impact, and again, I welcome you to, because I know that she and I have had discussions, and she says, yeah, I guess in a hypothetical world that could happen. It's just probably not. The only way it would ever negatively impact us or strain us in any way is if you had a project that was so underwater that we would be in a position, or our tax attorneys would be in a position of collecting those delinquencies and satisfying the bank note under the PACE project before we were able to actually collect our county taxes. Is that, you want to clean that up a little bit as to why that? Yeah, so.
Just throw me under the bus.
That's why we have you here.
I would look at it slightly differently. The statute says it has the same status as a tax lien, and I don't see it as superior.
Priority lien, yeah.
But it certainly is priority to a mortgage, which is why the mortgage holders have to agree in writing. If the worst thing happened and a property didn't sell for what was collected, it would be done on a pro rata basis with all of the tax. It would have the same level as all of the other taxing entities. I'm actually trying to figure out the best way to pull together a coalition. I think this needs to be addressed. I think in other states, the lenders don't have quite this authority, and I think they would be willing to have us address this in the legislature. So I'm actually going to try and get that done. But in the meantime, it's so unlikely that it would ever happen. But I don't think it's superior. I think it's pro rata.
And we do agree that it's unlikely to happen. And again, Liz, who's been the point of contact, and she would have been here today, but she has dockets in another county and just couldn't make it. But again, I think she acknowledges, or knows she acknowledges too, that you know, we have a tendency to look at everything from the worst case extremes as to what could possibly happen. And that's the only thing we've been able to come up with. And you asked what the risk or the downside was. That would be it. Yeah.
So that's on the back side. What on the front side?
So the statute passed, and so the assessment is made up of installments that are collected along the way. In almost every state, those installments are on the tax bill, and the tax assessor collector collects them and then distributes them to the lenders. Our tax assessor collectors said, love the program. They actually supported the legislation, but said, we can't do that. And so we had 130 volunteers spend a year putting this program together, and the group that handled the how are we going to do this without bonds, it was called the Financial Platform Working Group, had a lot of banks on it. They wanted the owner to have the power, and they wanted to be able to compete for these. So they didn't want the government supplying the money or picking favorites. But when I went back to them and said, this is either going to be the shortest idea or we have to find a workaround because the tax assessor collectors don't have the resources to do this. One of the bank representatives went, just go, ooh, can we do it? We service loans all the time. We can do it faster. We can do it cheaper. We know what we're doing. And immediately, the group said, yes, so let's let the local government delegate back to the lender the job of collecting the installments. So instead of their going on the tax bill, the contract between the owner and the lender, the county says, lender, you get the right to the stream of payments as they come in. You're not guaranteeing them. It's just when they come in, you get them. And oh, by the way, we're delegating to you the job of collecting the installments. And so what happened is not only did we save a lot of burden on the county, a lot of expense to the lender because you would have needed to be reimbursed for all that, but banks and some of these lenders want to be paid more than once a year. And since it's not in the tax bill, they now have the flexibility in their underlying loan agreements to decide how often they want to get paid, and they send their own bills. Or if they're really big companies, they'll hire a servicer to do that for them. But they can do that in the private sector with the best negotiated price in partnership they want to do. There's no reason for the government to be involved in all that. So actually in Texas, when we put this program together, we looked out for best practices, and the groups came back and said, I don't think we want to do this the way California's doing it. And we ended up really creating a new model where the oversight of the program was separated from the lenders, because in a lot of the early PACE programs, the lenders are the administrators, and nobody's checking their math or their decisions. So in Texas, we have what some would say is an overly burdensome underwriting and technical requirement you have to go through. But on the other hand, there's tremendous flexibility in the business community to use this program, which is going to be unique to each property. So a lot of the other states, since we did this back in 2013, 2014, have copied a lot of what we've done.
Court, any further questions or comments? Well, I want to thank you very much for your patience, for your opportunities you've given the court to become educated on this program. So, yeah.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
Well,
When things get rushed, it's never good.
yeah. Clint, anything else? All right. Well, this is an item to set a public hearing, and in that we have a resolution that does that here. So if I believe we said March 15th was our next opportunity. Anyone wish to make a motion on a time?
I'll make a motion to set a public hearing, 9/15, March the 15th.
Second.
Okay, can we have in that motion and the
Necessary signatures.
and the authorization, the passing of the resolution of intent?
Passing of the resolution with necessary signatures.
You second that?
Second.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner Tooley, to set a public hearing to establish the PACE program. and approve the resolution of intent with the public hearing being March 15th at 9:15 a.m. All in favor of the motion? Item passes. Thank you very much for giving us your time during this for the audience as well. It's an important program that definitely needs the open discussion. Item number 9, consider and take action on a request to accept Red Bluff Loop and Indian Gap located in Cherokee Shore subdivision into the 2-year road maintenance program located in Precinct 2. Commissioner Tooley.
Yes, Court. This is, I guess, the first time I've done this, so I'm going to kind of walk you through it. Cherokee Shores subdivision had approached me about taking these in maybe about a year ago, and we talked, and I have got them to this point. So on Saturday, a 2-inch hot mix around the deal, around the road. They have taken some of the culverts that were blocked and redone them. They've redone the bar ditches around, I wouldn't say about 3/4, but they do realize that once action could possibly be taken today, that they have a 2-year window that they would have to do anything that's wrong, or if the base fails or the hot mix fails. Now there is a couple of sections where they've already done that, where the base has fallen or not adhered to, and they have a couple of squares cut out of that 2-inch hot mix, but they fixed it correctly. So I believe that we're on a good start, and with these 2 roads, they asked when we could take in more, and I told them I didn't know. It'd just be time, a time committed project that we would have to look into. But I believe that we can move forward and put these 2 roads into our 2-year maintenance program here at the county.
Questions for the commissioner? I might add, I believe from the information provided, Red Bluff Loop is 4/10 of a mile. And Indian Gap is 5/10 of a mile?
Yes.
Okay. And as a part of this 2-year program, as you said, this is accepting into a 2-year probationary period.
True.
Where maintenance remains upon the association until the expiration of the 2 years, and then once reviewed, if they're still up to standard, they can be brought into the county system.
Somewhere around March 1st of 2024, they're still their roads until we make a motion.
Questions or comments for the commissioner?
And you were satisfied with the roads as they are
Yes.
today, to put them into?
Yeah, as of
program.
Saturday, they've done well. And they have been told that, they do need to have some kind of emulsion in the chip sealing, and that would help them during their 2-year period. So they've been told everything that the problems that we face on a day-to-day basis that they're going to face during their 2-year program. Excuse me, their 2-year probationary program.
Any other questions or comments, Court? Entertain a motion.
Judge, I move that we consider and take action to accept Red Bluff Loop, which is 5/10 of a mile, and Indian Gap, which is 4/10 of a mile, into the 2-year Henderson County road maintenance program.
I'll second.
Commissioner, I believe the distances are just reversed. 4/10 on Red Bluff and 5/10 on Indian Gap.
I apologize.
Just want to be sure the minutes.
Red Bluff Loop will be 4/10 of a mile, and Indian Gap is 5/10 of a mile.
Okay.
I second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Spivey, to approve the request of Red Bluff Loop in Indian Gap located in Cherokee Shores subdivision to be admitted into the 2-year maintenance program located in Precinct 2. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. If you would, the mileage on there, I apologize. After I made a big deal of it. Item 10, consider and take action on donation of spoil materials from Brad Rummel for the Henderson County Regional Fair Park. Commissioner Richardson.
Yes, Court, Mr. Brad Rummel approached me that he'd been talking with Howard Callaway out at the Fair Park, and he had some clay material left over from a job that he did, and was liking to, wanted to donate it to the Fair Park. Howard had looked at it, and it's the same type of material that he uses inside all of the pens at the Fair Park, and said it'd work out really well for him if he could get that at no cost, and one of the precincts haul it, and I think it's about a 2-mile trip from his place to the Fair Park, down 317.
We have Mr. Callaway with us here today. Howard, do you have anything to add?
No, Court, that would help us out quite a bit. We have to purchase that clay throughout the year to put in those stalls and to keep that, try to keep those barns level and stuff for safety of the horses and the livestock. And instead of buying it, purchase it, and hauling it in, and the expense and the cost of that would help us out tremendously. We'll be glad to take that.
Questions or comments, Court? Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the donation from Brad Rummel for spoil materials for Henderson County.
Precinct 4. Commissioner?
Yes, Court, I've had several constituents call me about there's a S-curve on County Road 4515, and on one of the curves on the inside is a blind curve, and a lot of times people don't stay on their side of the road when they're coming to that curve. And there's been several close calls, and so we contacted the property owner through Safari Waters and got signatures and stuff to allow us to go onto their property and trim out the inside part of that corner for visibility, so that cars can see approaching traffic.
Now, this property owner lives out of state, correct?
Out of state, and it took us a while to find them because they've got several different addresses. They're a doctor, and they're in Ohio and 4 or 5 different clinics in the state of Texas. I've been working on this for about 8 months.
Well, it is definitely a unique name that I am not going to try to say here.
Just try one time.
No. But this is, as we've had discussions as stated here, this is for the purposes of public safety, individuals driving down those roads. Are there any questions or comments from the court? Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to perform work on private property, remove vegetation on County Road 4515.
I'll second his motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner Spivey, to approve the request to perform work on private property to remove vegetation adjacent to County Road 4515 for purposes of public safety located in Precinct 4. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Item 12, receive financial reports. We have none of those today. Item 13 is consider and take action on payroll disbursements and accounts cash sheets. And, Mr. Bynum.
Yes, Court. I've got the payroll distribution totals for August 4. Need to get approval on it if I can, please.
Okay. Court, questions or discussion? Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the payroll disbursement totals for biweekly 4 as presented. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes.
And yes, Court, I also have the January cash sheets, and you get approval on it as well.
Okay. Questions or comments, court? Entertain a motion.